Ken, I'm so excited to welcome you to the show. Thank you for being here.
Thrilled to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Well, I am so excited to get to know you and your new book. It's called From Paycheck to Purpose: The Clear Path to Doing Work That You Love. So my people will know why I love this title and this message so much. And I'm excited to hear from you a little bit of maybe the story behind this message and why this topic felt really important to you.
Yeah, well, the story is, the very short version is that I was a guy who from the age of 16 was really, really clear on what I believed that I was called to do. And I went after it. And then I got to my early 30s and realized that that was no longer the case. And it was disheartening. It was disillusion. I mean, it was discouragement. It was, it was a tough time. It was a real crisis for me because I had always been very, very ambitious and very, very focused on a certain path, which was politics.
Okay.
And so I went through a journey of self-discovery. And realized that it was broadcasting, but that was equally daunting and terrifying because I had no experience in it. I didn't have any training in it. Oh, I'm in my not mid 30s yet. I was in my early 30s. And so, walking that journey out and watching what has happened over the last, well, let's see, it took me 7.5 years to get to Ramsey Solutions and then another 3 essentially, or 7 years and then 3 years. So 10 years to step into the dream job and watching what's happened and being able to translate that to people on air, in books. And so because I coach men and women every day, as you know, on the Ken Coleman Show on how to discover and do what they were created to do, this book was necessary because I was, at the time I wrote it, probably in the 3,000 to 4,000 calls I've taken. And people need a clear path for transformation. Whether it's weight loss, parenting, marriage, other relationships, money transformation, people need a clear path. And so this book, as you know, From Paycheck to Purpose, unveils and describes and then equips people to move through the 7 stages. Get clear, get qualified, get connected, get started, get promoted, get the dream job, give yourself away. And it's, as you know, we kind of liken it to climbing a mountain to that professional pinnacle. So the book had to be written because I did it. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I wanted to simplify and demystify the path to purpose.
That's so good, Ken. And you know what's interesting to me, being on the other side of being in your 20s, well, I'm 29 now, but when we're 18 years old, we go off to college and we have this maybe idea of what the world is like, what we think we want to do with our lives, how we want to spend our time. And I know for me, and maybe this will set somebody free today that's listening, all I had figured out at 18 years old was I love to work out and I want to impact people's lives. So at 18 years old, I thought that meant being a personal trainer. And so I went and did that for a little while, but I found like the lifestyle of that, getting up at 5 a.m., training people before they go into work. Like there were just some nuances to that. And like, where do you get health care? There was just some realities to adult life that I hadn't discovered yet until I did. And life sort of set me on another path. And I got an exercise science degree, Ken, that I've not used a day in my life. I'm thankful that I have it, but God has led me to some other work that is deeply meaningful. And I do get to impact people's lives in a completely different way than I thought I was going to at 18 years old. And I think that's so fine and that's so good, and it sounds like your story is similar in that God's using your voice maybe in a different way than you thought, but I know and I can see that you're fulfilled by your work. And so I think the journey is so much less linear than maybe we would imagine it would be. And so I do love, though, that the sort of methodology of the book sort of takes us through this process that does make it a little more clear. So I love that. And I'm curious, what are you seeing happening as, the pandemic really has given us all kind of a new perspective on a lot of things in life, including our work. And so, and especially what we want our careers to look like. So what are you seeing as we're coming out of the pandemic and conversations that you're having?
Well, I think we're seeing, instead of the great resignation that you're seeing in the news, and economists have kind of coined that term, I think you're seeing the great revelation. I think that you're seeing people, they're seeing things they didn't see before, and they're making moves to do it. I really do. I think that there's a restlessness that has taken place, And that's because of the Great Revelation. So I think if we go back and we look at the pandemic and what it did, I think there are two converging storms that came out of the pandemic. The first storm was an accelerated, complete, total, massive change forced on us. And we didn't have any choice but to accept it. Now, this is significant when you think about what I think is the greatest fear that humans face. That's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
And so change represents the unknown.
Yeah.
And that's why people hate change so much. They're resistant to change. They'd rather be miserable than uncomfortable. Okay. And so that's that fear of the unknown. So we were forced to go home. So our work life changed.
Yeah.
Our kids came home from school. That changed. Many people lost their jobs. Some people were furloughed. There was a massive amount of disruption to our everyday lives. And yet, we as humans, we are the most adaptable race on the planet. And so we adapted. So we got weirdly, I think, somewhat comfortable with that kind of massive change. And then we said, well, what else do I want to change? Since I've already been forced to change, what else would I want to change? That was one storm. And the other storm, obviously, was the health scare, certainly loss of life. So depending on who you are, you lost maybe some friends or loved ones, or they were very, very sick. And so there was the unknown. It was a very scary time. Okay. And so anytime that happens, we face our mortality. And so we realize how precious life is, and we don't know how much time we have. So I think those were the two storms that came out of the pandemic, and they kind of converged. And so I think it created this revelation of, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not doing what I want to do. There's more to life than a paycheck. So I think that's a big part of it, is the purpose quest. But I also think a paycheck is part of it too. And I think a lot of people, we saw 4.3 million people leave their jobs in August. I'm not going to be, so romantic as to try to assume that all of them left for their dream job or purpose. That's just not the case. But a lot of them are leaving for a greater paycheck, but that'll wear off too.
Sure.
And so that's what's going on. It really is. People, it's been revealed to them that there's more, that they can get more. And so people are moving. They're making change happen.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, and you mentioned this at the top of the show, that you talk about in the book is getting really clear on what you're passionate about and how does that play into your role, maybe in your job or the work that you do. What does that look like real practically for people who are listening and they say, okay, Rebecca, okay, Ken, that sounds good, but what does that look like on a Tuesday when I'm unhappy in my job?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. It simply looks like this on that Tuesday. You can get out a piece of paper and you can create 3 columns on your page. On the far left, write talent. In parentheses, under that, write what I do best.
Yeah.
And you're going to put down only the things that you would grade yourself an 8, 9, or a 10 on.
Okay.
With 1 being suck, 10 being super.
Yeah.
All right. And so we're going to look at everything from our hard skills, technical skills that we have, and our people skills, otherwise known as soft skills. I don't mind if you put some really great character traits in there as well. You could do that, but we're just going to focus on, this is what I would say, I'm really, really good at this. That's talent. Second column, passion, work I love to do. So boom, think of tasks, functions, roles that you look forward to. When you're in the middle of it, time seems to disappear and you're willing to suffer a little bit, really, to have the opportunity to do this work. This work matters. You love the work. Then the third column is mission. And under that, you're going to write results that matter deeply to me. And here I want you to think about, what are the results of your work? If you love this kind of work, then what are the results of this work that even make you even more connected to the work? So this is values driven. People you want to help, couple clues here. Problem or desire those people have, and then the solution to that problem or desire they have.
Yeah.
And so that's an exercise, and we walk people through this in the first 2 chapters of the book.
Okay.
We give you a manual version. Now, I would also say, for those of you out there that are like, Ken, I like that, but I need help. I created an assessment that is more complete than Strength Finders because it measures all 3 things that I just laid out. Talent, passion, mission is going to give you a detailed report on where you are, your top talents, top passions, primary missional driver.
Okay.
It's all psychology. There's 6 drivers. And so we're going to show you where you score high, and then you'll see where you score on all of them.
Yeah.
So that you can go, okay, I'm average here. I don't need to be focused on that. And then you're going to get a purpose statement that's filled out for you. Because this is what a purpose statement looks like. If you want to get clear, you do that exercise manually, or you can take the Get Clear Career Assessment at kencoleman.com. It takes you about 20 minutes. Now here's the deal. You are on purpose when you can look at a statement like this that says, I was created to use what I do best, blank, 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 to do work I love, blank, 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 to produce results that matter deeply to me, blank. That's as tight as it gets. There's no air in that sentence. And that is how you get clear. And so when you have a purpose statement that is very detailed, like I just laid out, and we'll do the work for you. All you got to do is answer questions honestly.
Yeah.
Now I've got a compass. Tells me the direction I can go, and I can do multiple jobs, multiple career paths, even multiple dream jobs and still be on purpose.
Hey, just interrupting this conversation real quick to tell you about one of our sponsors, Butterfly Box. Butterfly Box is a monthly subscription box that supports and encourages you in your journey as a Christ follower. They make great gifts and or a treat for yourself each month. And just for the Radical Radiance community, Butterfly Box is offering a code Radical Radiance 20, all uppercase, for a 20% discount on your first box by going to yourbutterflybox.com and entering the code Radical Radiance. I hope you enjoy that so much, and let's get back to the conversation. Yeah, that's so good. I'm wondering, what are some of the things that you believe hold people back from pursuing work that they're passionate about?
Fear, doubt, and pride are the three big bullies. They're the ones that do it. Now, there's some specific voices in those buckets. Fear of the unknown. I talked a little bit about that earlier, right? The fear of the unknown cripples us. If you've ever been driving in dense fog or come up on dense fog and you can't see past the hood of your car, or a torrential downpour happens, you're immediately pulling off the side of the road. Yeah. It's terrifying. Can't see. So fear of the unknown, fear of failure. Although I don't know why we get to this point, because there's failure on the path to success. You don't get to success without failure. You know, none of us rode our bike the first time and nailed it. We just didn't. And we had to wreck a few times. We had to figure out how to do it. But for some reason, we're just so scared of failure. Fear of rejection is another one, right? Because you're going to put yourself out there and some people are going to say, pass.
Yeah.
You know, and that goes back to elementary school when we wrote the little notes. Of course, you're much younger than me, so I don't know if you did this.
I was on the tail end of that. Yeah, totally.
Come on. Do you like me? Yes, no, or maybe.
Yeah.
And you're just terrified, right? The anxiety. What are they going to say? So we don't want to be rejected, right? The voices of doubt are, I don't have what it takes.
Yeah.
I just don't have what it takes, talent or grit. I don't think I got enough time.
Yeah.
I don't have enough money. These are all doubts. The voice of pride looks like, I'm so worried about what people are going to say. I mean, I'm in this really great job. I'm knocking down 6 figures. I got a fat 401k. I got stock options or whatever.
Sure.
Or I'm a nurse. I'm very successful and people look at me with admiration. But now I'm going to switch gears and go over here. I certainly went through that when I went from politics to broadcasting at 33. I was really worried if people were going to think I was delusional and what's Coleman doing there? That's quite a pivot. And then the other voice of pride that tends to be very big is, I don't want to ask for help. I don't want to be that guy that asks for somebody to help me or connect me or guide me. So that's just a quick run through of the big buckets. And there's lots of individual voices in those buckets.
Yeah. And I know a lot of our listeners have stepped out and maybe started something new, whether that's a ministry or they're trying to write a book or they've started a podcast or whatever. And as I heard you talk through every single one of those mindsets, I'm thinking back to the season when I was writing my first book proposal, when I started the show, and I, at some point, had every single one of those voices in my mind. And Ken, I bet you did too when you switched careers, right? But you did it anyway.
Well, you think I write them?
You did it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, you see how I rattled through those, folks? It's not because I sat around prepping for the interview for 3 hours. I wrote about them in detail, and I talk about them so freely is because I know them well.
Yeah, they feel very familiar.
By the way, I want to point out, something. Those don't go away.
Yeah.
Bothers me when I see people of influence say things on social media or whatever, like, oh, destroy fear forever. That's a bunch of garbage.
Yeah.
Fear, doubt, and pride are never going away, but you can't overcome them.
Yeah.
And the way that you overcome them is when those voices come up, you just straight up put them on the witness stand.
Yeah.
Is this true? Sometimes our fear is protecting us.
True.
Sometimes our doubt is soaked in some truth.
Sure.
Like if I go out today and I look at a 10-foot basketball goal and I go, I'm going to try to dunk this, and then I have some doubts, that doubt is not lying to me. That doubt is telling me the truth because I cannot jump high enough.
Yeah.
Okay? So we've got to put it on the witness stand and go, is it true? If it's true, then okay, what is that telling us? What is that protecting us from? But if it's not true, let's go. Let's step through it.
Yeah.
And so You can overcome those voices, but you never remove them.
Yeah.
Not on this side of heaven.
Yeah. It's making me think of one of my favorite movie quotes from the movie We Bought a Zoo. Remember that movie? It came out probably 10 years ago.
I remember it. I've never.
Okay. It's cute. And the dad of this family is retelling the story of when he asked his wife out on their first date. And so that's sort of the point of the story, but he says this quote to his son in the midst of that story. And he said, son, all you really need in those moments where you're scared is 20 seconds of insane courage. That's it. Like to actually get past whatever that mindset is, all the things that we're talking about, right? Because it's once you take that first step, the second and the third and the fourth and the fifth step become easier, right? And so I just love that thought that it's in getting over those moments of fear or pride or whatever. It's really just like 20 seconds of insane courage. So I love that.
Okay. So I'm glad you brought this up because this is great. I talk about this a lot and I love the quote. It's great Hollywood, but I'm so glad you brought it up because it's incomplete. But what we were just talking about will help you with that courage. There is no courage. Courage is not something that we can just summon from the Ethernet. You just can't. But courage will show up. Those 20 seconds of courage will happen if we are clear first.
Yeah.
Because when we are clear, then we will be confident.
Yeah.
And when we are confident, courage will show up. And I love that you brought it up. It's absolutely a beautiful thought. But clarity breeds confidence, and confidence breeds courage.
Yeah.
But absence of clarity, do I know that I was created to do this? I go back to the talent, passion, mission. Am I delusional? No. The creator of the universe built me for this.
Yeah.
I've got the talent. I've got the passion. It's on mission. So when those voices come up, we just retreat back to clarity like we did when we played freeze tag as kids. We had to get back to home base, right?
Yeah.
To be safe. So let's go back to clarity. When we go back to clarity, watch what happens. A doubt was talking to me. A pride was talking to me. Fear was talking to me. And, I don't have the courage. I'm not there. I'm quivering. Go back to clarity. I'm confident. And now my confidence allows me to step into the pride, step into the fear, step into the doubt. And therein lies the courage.
Yeah.
The courage shows up when we are clear and confident.
Oh, that's so good. So good. I love that. Well, one of the other pieces that you talk about in the book, and we mentioned this earlier, is legacy, talking about what does it look like to leave a legacy. And I'm curious, how does our legacy fit into this conversation? How do you want to encourage maybe somebody listening to leave a legacy through the work that they feel is connected to their God-given gifts and talents?
Yeah, I love the question. And I think we've got to look at how we define legacy. Because legacy is a big word.
Yeah.
It's a big word. And I think what happens is we use the words like legacy and purpose. Hello, it's in the title of my book. And I'm trying to help people see that those are big words. They mean a lot. There's a lot of emotion wrapped in them. But just because they're big words and have big emotion doesn't mean that we measure those words by big.
Yeah.
So what I mean is legacy to me is impact.
Yeah.
I impacted somebody's life. I'm not talking about, giving somebody a tissue when they need it. That's a nice thing to do. I'm talking about you had some type of investment, impact on somebody that it meant something to them. You helped them do something. You helped them get something that changed their life.
Yeah.
And it could be just a customer service call where a single mom is stressed out working 3 jobs and she needed something and it didn't show up or it was broken or whatever, and it has big time impact on her. If you solve that and fix that, and it gives peace, it brings all kinds of stuff. And so when you do that day in and day out, and you've got that kind of impact on people's lives, then there is a story there. There is a history of you making impact.
Yeah.
That's legacy. So it doesn't have to be this big, bright, fancy, everybody knows about it. Oh, you're an icon. Legacy is not reserved for icons and famous people. Legacy is history of impact. That's how I define legacy.
Yeah, I agree, Ken. And as I think back on my life, sure, there have been very influential people who have influenced me, authors, speakers. There have also been Sunday school teachers who were faithful. There was my first grade teacher who taught me how to read and spent more time with me than she should have and developed a passion in me for reading. And now I'm about to release my first book in about a year. There are people who marked my life that the world will never know.
So that's legacy.
Yeah.
So your first grade teacher, what was her name? Let's love on Miss Embry for a second, because Miss Embry, she has a piece of every transformation that happens from this podcast that you and I are doing together today, Miss Embry's got a piece of this.
Yeah.
She's got a piece of any transformation that happens from any book you write, that you sell. Yeah. That's legacy. That's legacy.
Yeah, I agree. So speaking of, as you are walking into book release season and you think about this message, I wonder, Ken, what are you hoping for as readers walk away from this book?
The number one thing I'm hoping for is that it leads to revelation for people, that they really truly look inward and they discover, this is my role. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
I really want that. I want the awareness, the reveal, the awareness, and then I want confidence for people to just go, okay, and then I want the courage for people to step out and go after it. That's what I want. I want people to just go, all right, I get it now. This isn't that mythical of a journey.
Yeah.
It's not at all. It's going to be difficult at times, but I've got a path, and more importantly, I know what my purpose is, and I'm going to go do it. That's what I want.
Yeah, I love that. So good. Okay, well, I want you to tell people, where can they grab the book? Where can they go take your assessment that you mentioned? Tell them all the places.
Yeah. Thank you. KenColeman.com. Super simple. You can get the book and the assessment in a bundle for only $30, which is incredible because the assessment is $30 on its own. So you can get that bundle there. You can connect with me on the show. Call into the show if I could ever coach you on the air. Come on, let's go. It's a safe place. You can change your name, location, and I will coach you and connect with us on social media there as well. So KenColeman.com is the place to get it.
Awesome. Well, Ken, I'm so grateful for your time today. I'm so excited for your book, and I just want to say thank you so much for being with me.
Well, thank you for having me. You're doing great work, and I'm excited for you and what you're up to.
Hey, friends, I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Ken Coleman, and I hope you'll go grab his book, From Paycheck to Purpose, wherever you like to buy your books. And guys, I can't wait to be with you next conversation. I have been looking forward to getting to know this lady for a very long time, Hillary Morgan Ferrer. You may know her as Mama Bear Apologetics. You may have followed that account for a while, and I just really enjoyed getting to know her and getting to sit down and talk about her latest book and her newest release that's coming out soon under the same name, Mama Bear Apologetics. I think you're really going to enjoy this conversation. Even if you're not a mom, you do not have to be a mom to get a lot out of this conversation all around theology and equipping ourselves and our kids and the future generation of the church with how to know what we believe and why we believe it. I loved her. So I think you're going to love her too. So join me next time as we sit down with Hillary.